Hi, good morning, everybody. This is People of Substance by Lemon Skies, and I'm excited to welcome my guest today, Erika Yalowitz. It is not her first time with me. We've done this probably about a year ago now, but let me just reintroduce her. So, Erika grew up actually in Colombia, country I dearly hope to visit one day very soon. And she has a lot of experience in criminal justice system. She's very deeply entrenched and involved in community here in Fairfax County and in Virginia. She's a volunteer, and that's actually how we met in the first place from serving on the board of a local nonprofit. And most recently, Erika is the candidate for Virginia State Senate, so she'll talk about that. So, Erika, please say hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And thank you for having me, Olga.
Thanks for coming back and taking the time. Always a pleasure. So let's talk about your political campaign. So I've known you for a few years, and probably a few months back, you threw your head in for Virginia State Senate. So I wanted to ask you what led you, what was the journey like, and what finally led you to take that step.
So, Olga, I have, since a very young age, I always see where there's a need, and I kind of jump to to work on it to see how we can address it, remediate it, or something. Um, I don't know. I have always taken that as a duty. If there's something that I feel like I can be of help, then I will. Um, in the past, I ran for the Board of Supervisors in 2019, and it was for the area of Tysons, Merrifield, and Loring, Mantua. And this time around, I really was not planning on running, but Virginia had a redistricting process. Mm-hmm. And as a result of redistricting, we were left in this new, very urban, suburban area district for the state senate, the District 37. And the district included the city of Falls Church, the town of Vienna, Fairfax City, Tysons, Merrifield, a very homogeneous suburban and urban area, which is something I love. I believe that developing cities the right way can bring a lot of prosperity to the state and to the people of the community. There are many issues that I find interesting and we can work on in the state. First of all, let's talk about the national issues. We have lots of uncertainty and issues regarding safety of our rights, reproductive rights. Nationwide, we had a reversal of Roe v. Wade last year, and now some states are starting to take up on, those issues, banning certain medicines, and those things could be replicated in many states, including Virginia. So that was a big motivation. I'm a woman, I'm a person with skin in the game on reproductive issues, on reproductive health that touches our lives directly, very directly. And I wanted to work on that. I wanted to bring at least that perspective to the race. There were two men in the race. So I wanted to be there to make sure that women have someone with their interests, and representing their interests. So that's one thing. Education is another thing. The governor and the lieutenant governor also has been very vocal about bringing or supporting charter schools. What happens with this? When you take money from the education funding, from the education budget of the state, and you allocate it to, you put it toward private initiatives, which are the places where people who already pay for them and have the money to pay for them, will receive those benefits. The people who don't have the resources to pay for education or public education or charter education, many times they don't have access to lunches. They have to access free lunches, in public schools. But those monies would be moved from public to private, leaving the public schools even with a higher deficit to hire good people, to retain good teachers and administrators, and to build some of the places that really need expansion. We have kids in trailers. We have so much need in public education. So I wanted to defend that. So public education, reproductive rights, LGBTQ freedoms are also under attack, under the attack of the governors in Florida, the governors here in Virginia. All we want, or all I aspire to offer, is for trans people to feel accepted, to feel like they belong. And when we tell someone, you don't belong in this bathroom, you don't belong in sports, you are different, you cannot do this, we are doing completely the opposite. And this is what I wanted to fight for. I wanted to make sure that all of our kids felt like they belong, like they're loved, they're part of our society, they're part of our community. Anyway, so that's a third issue. Guns, big one, big issue. So Virginia is number 14 on the status of gun safety or gun safety laws. We could be better. There's always room for improvement. And the representative who was assigned to us after redistricting has voted against a number of gun safety bills that was alarming to me. And that as a court officer, I have seen, lost and stolen weapons or ghost guns in the hands of kids. And I have to, deal with these issues while I know that my representative voted against reporting lost and stolen weapons, or voted against some safety issues regarding ghost guns. In the meantime, 1,121 people on average are killed with guns. So just, some food for thought. There is work to do, and I wanted to do it. So I wanted to be the one. So I jumped in yeah.
Erika, and for those who don't know, ghost guns are guns that are silent. I'm not as closely familiar with this issue.
So ghost guns, great question. Thank you so much for asking. So ghost guns are they're built piece by piece. So people can order the barrel from one side from Amazon, the different parts from different places, or can be 3D printed in plastic, but they have the same capability of a gun. So those are really ghost guns because they're really, really, yes, exactly, very hard to trace. And I see that kids do it all the time, and they bring them to school, and that's a problem. When we see school lockdowns, when we see the terror that this actually, results in, it's unacceptable. We need age limits. We need more restrictions to make sure that guns don't end up in the wrong hands.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Erika, let me pivot from issues a little bit to you running for state senate. And you and I have discussed this, but for those who don't know you, I mentioned at the top of the hour that you grew up in Colombia. You're an immigrant like myself. English is not your first language. You're a fluent Spanish speaker. You're a woman. You're Latina, and throwing your hat in the ring for one of the elected positions in the state. What message do you feel like you're sending?
I'm sending a message that immigrants are invested in this community. We just don't come to benefit from the American dream. We come here to build it and make sure that others can access it. Make sure that that American dream is also available to others. I grew up in Colombia, and I learned English as a second language when I was 22. I came to this country when I was 27. Because many people think, I grew up here. No, I didn't. But I've always, wherever I've lived, I have volunteered. I lived in London, and immediately when I started there, living there, I volunteered for Amnesty International for human rights because I wanted to be part of the solution of something. When I came here, first thing I started doing, without knowing that I was going to stay, was working with the Hispanic College Fund with underserved populations, helping them achieve a higher education or educational opportunities, trades, skills, the different sets of skills, so that they could find an occupation, so be productive and learn something that their parents maybe not have been able to do or to teach them. So I believe that is something that we bring. That's the Hamilton message. Immigrants are here to build community. Immigrants are here to contribute, and that's all I want to show and to do.
And you hear the saying of you can't be what you can't see. So I think your presence, well, I'm sure at home to your daughter, but to others, to volunteers on your campaign and in the community, I think the best thing has been seeing your signs in the yards in the wild, as they say. So you can't be what you can't see. So you're sending a message to this and the next generation as well.
Absolutely. The other thing is, we've never had representation of a Hispanic person in the Senate, in the state Senate in Virginia. Never. So never. And we have a lot of people of Hispanic origin in Virginia. The other thing is 20% only of the state Senate are women. And this is the highest it's ever been. So 20% is still not, representative of 51% of the population, which we are in Virginia. So I really believe that there could be a shot. There could be, a possibility to bring that representation, bring that voice, but represent everyone. However, just, be open the trail for others who believe, sometimes we can't be there. We are not part of the solution, or we're not, on the table, and that's what I wanted to work for and to advance.
So let me ask you this: what has been the hardest part of running for a political office so far?
It's not an easy task in general. I mean, you have to sit down and spend hours on the phone calling people, asking for money, and every time I called, I had either a good conversation or someone just hang up on me or it's so important to be kind. I really realize that the value of kindness. Some people may say, sorry, I can't give at this time, but I wish you the best of luck. That was so much appreciated. And there are many different responses to asking someone, hey, I am running this campaign. This is what I want to do. I need to fund this campaign. Can you chip in a little bit? And some people can be mean, but some people are amazingly gracious and amazingly kind. So it's having knowing that you can go either way, have both. Hard thing of running. Knocking doors is actually pretty hard work, just physically, but I love it. That was the best part, because you're not meeting people on the phone, you're meeting people at the doors, and people, when you have eye-to-eye contact, when you have a smile and a smile back, when you can talk about what people care most about, and then I can share with them a little bit of who I am or why I'm doing this. That was the most fulfilling part, and I really loved it. Every time I knock doors, it's my favorite thing. Then there is, the paperwork, there's the reporting, there's the competition. You have to show that you are a viable candidate, and a lot of that is money and resources, and being able to recruit enough volunteers to knock enough doors and call people and write letters, and time is of the essence always. And it's really, really hard to be doing everything at the same time. Calling for money, knocking doors, working, because I work full time as well. I'm a working mom, and my work is very demanding in court and juvenile court. So it's the balancing act, and making sure that I have a partner who is home, helping me with our daughter, with food, with ordering, yeah,
Humaning.
groceries. Yes, it's a balancing act.
Yeah. So this is where we share that a couple days ago you've decided to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
You ran a hard, you put your whole heart and soul and just the amount of energy you've put into appearances and debates and door knocking and rallying the troops. And I've had a couple conversations with you during this time. And now you've decided to pull out. So I wanted to give you a chance to speak about what led you to that decision. And I think I've used the analogy. Sometimes you're likely to stumble running down the muddy trail, and sometimes you kind of have to make that decision and take reins into your own hands. So I wanted to give you a chance to talk about that decision.
Yeah. So when I started looking about viability, there were 3 candidates. I already brought what I have to offer. People either take it or not. People either jump in or not. People either donate or not. It's what it is. One of the candidates has been there for a long time, and he has a pretty good war chest, almost $1 million in a campaign account. That's
which is a lot for a state campaign.
Yes, it is. It is a lot, but so that's a lot of resources. The other candidate was able to raise almost, or no, I believe twice as much as I did. So that was a pretty big, strong sign. I had a lot of endorsements, and I believe I had a lot of, enthusiasm and everything, but still money is a factor. And this determined whether I would be able to fund my digital campaign, my mail campaign, each mailer that I send out to voters, or that you receive in the mail, because you receive in the mail like almost every week something from a politician. That mailer costed $25,000. It depends on how many they send. And when you have to send at least 3-4 mailers during a campaign, you need to have that, that amount of money in your bank account, in addition to you paying your staff, running a digital campaign, which is also a lot of money. So I realized that at that point, I couldn't do what I needed to do to effectively run a winning race, run a winning campaign. And I had to make the decision, okay, do I pay my staff, pay my bills, any of the things that I also spent, because campaigns are very expensive. And they take a lot of your own resources as well. So do I do that, or do I risk just pulling through and going way to the end? It's tricky because, political donors will look at your numbers and the numbers of other people and know, this person is more valuable than this other. So I might not give to this candidate who's behind. And I had to face, that risk and understand, if I want the best for the district, which is what I do, I'm not there for myself. I don't want just to have the title of state senator. I want to do the work of a state senator. But, if I want the best for the district and to advance on the issues that we talked about, LGBTQ, education, reproductive rights, gun safety, I needed to give that option to the next candidate up who aligns with what I believe. So that's what I did. I came out of the race. I supported Saddam Salim. There is something very important to me also. It's campaign finance reform. In Virginia and really in the whole United States, after Citizens United, corporations are the best, or the main source of income for political campaigns. And this is extremely dangerous for people, because then people come, down to a last priority. and the interests of corporations come first. What's the problem? I really like communities where businesses have, the owner works in the business, all the employees know the owner, they feel like they are people. They're not, in a huge corporation where they are a number. There's a big difference. It's about humanity. It's about how we treat people. It's about how we pay people. The more power corporations have, the less they want to pay. And what they don't pay their employees, the states have to pay in subsidized housing and food stamps, because those employees don't get enough money or don't earn enough with one job only to live. So honestly, corporations are not bringing as much as they're pulling, and they are being very expensive, very costly for us. The state has to pay in other ways what the corporations are bringing, and also giving them, tax reliefs and all of this. So I believe that is, I committed to not taking money from corporations, from Dominion, from their lobbyists, and the other candidate as well, Saddam Salim, was committing to the same, whereas the incumbent does take corporations' money. So I believe that was also a key factor for me to endorse the other candidate, to make sure that we return the power to people, that we really have accountability in our representatives, and that was a key factor for me.
So, Erika, what do you see next for yourself? Was this your one and done, or do you see a political future for yourself, or do you have other ambitions you're pursuing now?
So I don't know about political, ambitions. I will know if the opportunity comes. If there is a call of duty to fulfill. But for now, I just want to be involved in something that is meaningful, that is impactful, and where I am helping people like me. There are many places where I don't see people like me, and I honestly am not very motivated to join some of those places, because I guess because of the same reason that other people are not interested in coming forward and doing the representation thing, the running for office thing. So the issues that really call my attention and that are close to my heart are anything that helps women, anything that helps at-risk youth or underrepresented populations, or underserved populations, and that is what I do. For example, I lead a youth mentoring program, and that's one of the favorite things I do, because I believe that we can have a very strong impact on the lives of people and change lives. And that's probably what I will keep doing.
And hopefully get a break, maybe take the weekend off.
Oh, yes, definitely. I will take a little rest.
Well, Erika, this has been great. I mean, I see you all the time. I talk to you all the time, but it's wonderful to see you in this context and have a conversation about issues and what's impacting them. And I just applaud you for, going for it and giving your whole heart and sweat, blood, and tears, I'm sure, that go into it. So well done. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Olga, for having me. This is amazing. I'm a super fan of your show. I love all of the people and the perspectives that you bring to your show, and very, very, very happy to be here again. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.